Welcome back, guys. So, got a Duke 690 here. What to say? KTM want £1,000 to fix it. They're telling the customer it needs a new throttle body. £700 for the throttle body, or just over £300 labour to fit it and set it up. So this guy found a previous video I made online, which I'll put a little poppy out thing here. My advice is go and watch that video before you watch this one, because I go right into the weeds with the repair in that video, and I think this is likely the same issue. So if you've got a KTM with some idling issues, which we'll get to in a minute, and some running problems, go and watch that video first, and then this is more of just a bit of an entertainment type video. So the issue is, try not to get his number plate in the shot, you probably won't appreciate that. So it's freezing cold here. It's 10 degrees almost icy here, so it's super cold. It's been in the workshop all night. Let's start it and see what it does from cold. So it's not brilliant at starting, that's the first thing. Come on now, you know you want to. Yeah, that's not great, is it? So this already is likely a different, well, there we go. So this is possibly a different issue to the one we experienced with the other KTM. So what I'll do, I'll get a little camera on here and we'll go and have a ride. I've said it 1,000 times before though, if you've got any sort of running problems, are you doing any sort of diagnostic work? Oh look, sorry, oh it's going to cut out. If you're doing, there we go. If you've got any sort of running problems or any sort of, you're doing any sort of diagnostic work, you have to be able to replicate the problem. If you can't replicate the problem and you're doing it for a living, just don't take the job on, because then you'll own the problem forever and it'll just turn into a complete nightmare. Anyway, I'm waffling. I'm going to put a camera on here. Let's go and have a quick spin and see how it actually rides, and if it's doing what the other one did, which is cutting out when you get to a junction and stuff. Right, I'll see you on the road test. Okay guys, I think this is going to be the shortest road test in history. I haven't even started riding yet and I am so cold. Oh, I don't want to start, does he? Yeah, I think this is a different issue. The way let's just let it tick over a minute and have a look at this rev counter. The way it cuts out, it's sort of electrically. Let it warm up a little bit. Oh yeah, the throttle feels. Yeah, I was giving it throttle then when it cut out. I think this is a separate. Oh, don't go flat on me. No! Are you fucking kidding me? Oh, God. Oh, there we go. Right. Oh, I'm not going to let it warm up anymore. Let's go. Hopefully, guys, my audio is going to be a bit better on this one. I have a muff on my mic. It looks like a nice day, doesn't it? But, God, it's cold. Oh, I think the front tyre's a bit flat. It steers a bit weird. Right. Oh my God, I'm freezing cold! Oh, it's fucking cut out on me. Thank you, thank you. Oh, they've been mowing. Let's get some punches. It feels, so I'm on the overrun coming down this hill. As you start to come on the throttle, it feels a bit sort of dead and doesn't do anything for the first little bit of throttle. Yeah, and then it comes on. That's weird. Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on, but I think maybe it isn't the. Oh, and a backfire, and it's missing. So on a part throttle, it's hard for you guys to get a sense of what it's like, but with the throttle just cracked, it's really surgy, like it's really lean. it really doesn't want to go, and then when you get on it, whoa, fucking hell. Massive slide then on the overrun. Did you see that gravel in the middle of the road? I backed off the throttle and I went sideways. Right, okay. Oh, wheelies. Yeah, it feels, I'm going to call this one, cut this one short. Let's see if it cuts out on a decel and I pull the clutch in. No, it's not doing. It's not doing what the other one was doing, is it? It feels like it's really lean on that first bit of throttle. Oh, cut out. I mean, it could be a TPS. It could be a TPS issue, possibly. That first few degrees of throttle movement don't seem to do anything. It's really sort of woolly and jerky on off the throttle. Right, let's get it back in the workshop where it's warmer. Oh, seriously? And my microphone's come disconnected from its little house. Get it back on there, please. Too much wheeling. Yeah, started alright that time. Alright now, that's really weird. So here's what I'm going to do, guys. I'm going to get it in the workshop. I'm going to scan it for codes. Not expecting anything, but just have a look. I'm going to take the plug out, do a compression test. Not that it's that, but it's always a really good place to start. I'll put a new plug in it and I'll calibrate all the, whoa, I see. I'll do the throttle body calibration and the idle, and the ECU reset and an idle relearn. And let's just see. All those things are super easy to do. And let's reassess at that point. Does that make sense? This seems a sort of bit intermittent. Whoa, car! Fucking hell. Fucking hell, sliding all over the place. Let's do that. Because those things are easy to do. And then we'll reassess the situation. I think that's the best plan, because it's difficult to get direction with a job like this. Right, we're hooked up to it. That's an interesting little smorgasbord of fault codes. Lambda sensor heating element, a coolant temperature sensor, and an injection value. How peculiar. Right, so in these sort of scenarios, when you're like, well, I have no fucking idea what is happening, what I do, rightly or wrongly, obviously I'll remember these, but what I do is I bin the codes off, because what can happen is people kind of had it apart and left things disconnected with the ignition on, etc. So I like to clear them. Let's run it again and see if there are any actual codes that come back that are real, if that makes sense. Oh my days. Fucking hell, it takes a long time to start, doesn't it? Very, very poorly. Right, let's have a look on the diagnostic machine. The fucking thing will stay running. Okay, well nothing's come back immediately. Let's have a look at, if I can find it. I'm looking for, oh, it stopped. Not going to find it in there, am I? Because that's the wrong bloody menu. I was looking for fuel injection pulse width. Is it staring me in the face? This one here. What is happening with this fuel injection pulse width? It's all over the bloody show. Of course, this is what you would call a backdoor bit of data, as in this is what the ECU is telling me it's doing, but ideally you would put an oscilloscope on the injector to actually see the real life, what's happening in reality. Does that make sense? You're gonna have to stand by. My brain is just working. Let me come up with some sort of direction and I'll bring you back in. So none of those fault codes have come back, but I've got movement. I can feel it doing something down on the other end. Does that make sense? But it's not really. I think it might be something throttle body related. I think initially I'm just going to do the recalibration of all the TPSs. I think I'm going to do that first, and let's see where that takes us. I'm not saying that's going to fix it, but I think that's what I'm going to do first, because my spider senses are telling me there might be an issue there. Let's turn this off. Oh, I can't turn it off because my diagnostic machine is making it run. So I'll do this calibration. I'm not going to do the plastic gear thing that you've watched. Hopefully you've watched that first video that I mentioned in the beginning. If I didn't mention it, there's a little thing up here in the corner of the screen. Click on that and go watch the first one of these I ever did. No, actually that's not true. The first one of these I ever filmed doing. I mean, you'll understand what I mean about the plastic gear. So I'm not going to do the plastic gear thing. I'm just going to do the TPS calibration, and let's see where that leaves us, and then we'll go from there. Okay guys, so let's just blast through these. I'm not going to go into massive amounts of detail because that's in the other video, but what I will do, if this will focus, I'll do this bottom one, which is just the test. In the other video did the top one, so this is just to test to see if they're okay. Confirm. So it's having a little bit of a think about it, and it's in the right ballpark. See how it's in the green? Press confirm. You can hear the throttle body doing some jiggery pokery. Press confirm. Press confirm. Okay. That one's in value. That should say okay. Oh, value out of range. Interesting. To be performed. So it wants me now to do the other procedure. Okay. Cancel to end. Right, so then we've got to do this one. Start. Okay, so now what I've got to do is, see how that one needs to be in between the two blue marks? Well, this is where it gets confusing. You're going to push on this throttle butterfly, and that should go into the green, which it does. Then I've got to press confirm. Now I've got to open and close the throttle 10 times, which you'll know about if you've watched the other video. Again, I'm not going into loads of detail here because I don't want to no, hang on a minute. Stand by. Is it making me do it again? Confirm. Right, now it's the emergency position adjustment. Okay, did it say that before? I wasn't paying attention. Just blasting through it so quickly. Yeah, right, okay. Now here we go. That is out of range. So that is in need of adjustment, which is, oh God, the stuff in the way. Let me get the stuff out of the way and I'll show you. In fact, I think there's something missing there. I think there should be another piece of plastic. I think somebody's been in here. Well, it's an old bike, so somebody probably has, but let's get that out of the way and I'll show you what this adjustment is here. This one. Right, the adjustment is that there's a little metal cap you've got to prise off here, which is a little bit of a pain in the arse to get to this adjuster. And then you wang this screw about, he says. It's really hard to hold the camera and do this. I might have to put the camera down. Stand by. Right, that was a bit of a mission actually. So that's that lock nut done up with that adjuster for the Allen key. Confirm. Open and close the throttle. Yes, 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 yes. And then this one. Okay, and then the final one is there. That's done. Go and look. I keep saying it, don't I? Keep repeating myself. Go and look at the other video because I'm blasting through this. I do go into more detail in the other video. Just want to get this done. Confirm. Okay, successful. Confirm. Right, let's back out of here. Go to settings, ECU reset, start. I'm not going into the whole idle for 15-minute debate. I talked a little bit about that in the previous video. So now we need to turn the ignition off, disconnect the, hang on, I'm trying to do this with like multiple pairs of hands. So what you got to do is, if I disconnect the power from the diagnostic machine, this will lose comms in a minute when the ECU goes to sleep. There we go. Right, so now the ECU, next time I start it, ECU will reboot, and I need to, well, before I run it, I've got to put all this gubbins back together. Let's do the 15-minute idle, the idle relearn, and let's see where we are. I think I'm going to have the throttle body off and do the gear thing, because I didn't show it in that because I was trying to, I filmed more, but I know in the edit it's going to look like it all went to plan, that adjustment. To go through the procedure a couple of times because the butterfly was chattering a little bit. I think the gears are worn in the throttle body is what I'm saying. But I'm interested. Let's just put it together, do the idle relearn and see if we've improved it at all. If we haven't, I'll pull the throttle body off and we'll inspect the gears like we did in the other video. Okay guys, so initial start up after all that and the ECU reset. I think if we've made any difference, it should not do its shitty starting thing and start immediately. And then we'll let it idle for 15 minutes and see where we are. Oh. Okay. It's not unusual for them to do that after an ECU reset. It's just the stepper motor trying to find a, you know, a smooth idle. I think my spider senses are telling me, yeah, that's not right. My spider senses are telling me that this throttle body needs to come off. I think the gears are, I think there's a load of backlash in those gears. Let it do its tick over thing and we'll see where we end up. Right, okay. I'm not counting my chickens yet, but it's at its, well, it was more than 15 minutes. It was on a phone conversation. It was about 18 minutes. But it starts reasonably well. seems to be behaving itself. It's the end of the day now, because I've been doing other stuff today, not just this. So tomorrow I'll try a cold start, see what it does. We'll have another ride. And yeah, I'm not convinced we fixed this yet, but let's see what tomorrow brings. Hey guys, so it's the next day. It's, see that? It's really cold in the workshop this morning. So after that last clip, when I'd done the stuff I was doing, it was the end of the day and it was dark, and I thought, fuck it, I'm going to ride it anyway. So I went and had a ride, and it was definitely better. How to describe? Slightly less vague on the throttle. The throttle seemed a little bit more connected, and then it got me thinking, I wonder which, because if you don't know, there are 3 different rider modes on these. So it was on normal, so I've changed it to sport, which gives you a little bit more of a one-to-one connection between the... Anyway, let's not go into that. That's improved it more again. But what it's now doing is... I'm sorry I didn't film the road test, but it was dark. What it's now doing is... on a little bit like it was before, I guess, but sort of 10-15% throttle. It's a bit sort of surgy. It doesn't just hold a constant speed. And the other thing it did to me was, I was just coming on the throttle, just coming around, turning off a road, coming around a small bend, and it sort of died completely and then came back on. Like really on-off, felt sort of electrical. And anyway, I hadn't put a plug in it, so I thought I'd put my plug in. I'm just taking the plug out, that's the new one. If that focuses, it's fucking lean, which is what I thought, just from looking at that plug. I know that's, you know, let's not get into plug chopping and looking at spark plugs for mixture, because it's a little bit, yeah, let's not talk about that here. But as a rough sort of guide, it is weak, it is lean. So I'm going to put a new plug in it. Yeah, it won't, what am I trying to say? Fucking all over the place with this morning. I'm just doing this. I've got to go out in the van and do another job, and I just wanted to get this filmed and get it out of my brain and onto the camera. I'm just going to put a plug in it, because it won't cold start. It refuses to go. Cranky, 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 and it won't go. So let's just put a new plug in, see if it'll start, and I'm going to have to leave this one for today because I've got a different job to do. And then I'll have to revisit what else did I want to get out of my head onto camera. I haven't shown it on camera, but one of the first things I did was look for vacuum leaks. The old brake cleaner test. You've seen that before probably. So there's definitely no vacuum leaks. The next thing I'm going to do is fuel pressure. Then we'll probably break out the oscilloscope, look at pulse width of the injector. There's a few different ways we can go. There are no fault codes. I've just scanned it again. There are no fault codes anywhere. Yeah, it's a bit, I'm not quite sure which way to play this one. Let's put a plug in, see if it runs. Right, okay, so new plug's in it. I'm stupid as well. I didn't do a compression test when I had the plug out. I'm pretty sure it's got compression, based on absolutely no evidence whatsoever. But actually, that's not true. When I was riding it and I stalled it and dumped the clutch to bump start it, the back wheel locked up, so it's got some wind in it. Yeah, I'm not worried about that now. Right, new plug. Will it start? Freezing cold. Oh. Oh! Well, fuck me. I wasn't expecting that. Holy smoke. Okay. Oh, hang on a minute. Haha. Spoke too fucking soon. Why would he do that? What the fuck is going on? That's weird. I wonder if there's some sort of electrical nuss going on, like with the ignition switch or something. Sometimes when you open the throttle, the hell is that noise? Oh, it's me plug spanner rattling on the bench. Sometimes when you open the throttle, it's really sort of boggy. I know it's freezing cold and stuff. You know what my spider sense is telling me? I'm going to do fuel pressure. I had a Triumph like this once that had had water contamination in the fuel, which was doing this weird intermittent lean condition. Didn't want to run properly. I've got to go and do some fork seals now out in the van. Gonna have to carry on with this another day. I think we'll call this the end of part 1, and there will be a part 2. Obviously, I won't put part 1 out until I know part 2 is all done and dusted and stuff. So we'll split this in 2, because if these videos get over half an hour, they get, I think people's attention span doesn't stretch much beyond 30 minutes. I know some of you like the long form content, but let's keep it under half an hour if I can. Right, thanks guys, see you on the next one.